When I was 13, I had 75 pigs to feed every morning before school. Told him about my illegal pig operation. Be an investigator of life. That painted fat guys was the trend.
Have you been in a good fantasy football league?
No, I'm not 12. I picked you in my, third round, and I got you, and you got 13 points for me last week. It was very hard for me when he was taking pictures with his Bills fans to not be behind the camera and say, okay, on 3, everybody say 13 seconds. Hey, I'm Eric Stonestreet, and you're watching Like a Farmer.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer right here in Loch Lloyd Golf Club here.
Nothing says rural more than Loch Lloyd.
And as you can tell, this week's guest is Eric Stonestreet. We're going to be talking about Chiefs Kingdom, of course, unfortunately, however you want to put that. A little bit of Hollywood, a little bit of Kansas City, a little bit of farming.
And the truth is, Loch Lloyd is in the rural part of Kansas City. My football coach is from Cleveland, Missouri, which is just right past Loch Lloyd. So I apologize, Loch Lloydians.
Let's get into the episode. You coming on the show today, Eric, means a lot because I know you're busy. So this right here is a gift.
Oh, shoot.
That I wanted to give you, a little case knife.
Oh, man.
Open that bad boy up.
Ooh, my dad had pocket knives galore, and I was just going through his box of pocket knives, and I picked out a couple cases that I really love. So this will be perfect. I just got the boys. Lindsay has 13. They're 13-year-old boys. I've known them since they were 5. But I just bought them their first pocket knives for Christmas last year, and I got them both case
That
knives.
is all. I feel like that is part of the growing up phase. I would almost take it as like when you get your first car keys at 16. Like when you get your first pocket knife to put in your pair of jeans. I mean, that means something.
Yeah, it is cool. I got them their first wallet. Remember when you got your first wallet and like the responsibility that comes along with having a wallet? And I got them a pocket knife. Hopefully, I'll be able to get them little 22 at some point.
Exactly.
Teach them how to shoot a rifle where it's supposed to start.
What I'm talking about this type of stuff, and you're born and raised in Kansas City?
Yeah, born and raised on the Kansas side. We're on the Missouri side here, but yeah, I was born and raised on the Kansas side. The ruralest, most western part of Kansas City in the limits you could be. I was right there.
And how was that growing up?
Awesome.
Because, you grew up was it on a farm or you?
Yeah, it was a hobbyist farm.
Yep.
My dad was a haberdasher, I would kind of say, just because we're in Kansas City and Truman was the most famous haberdasher ever. But he owned a store sort of like a Big Lots, what we think of a Big Lots, a liquidation closeout type store where you'd walk in and you never knew what you were going to get. But that was his job, and he was very successful at it and doing it. But I think if my dad could have gone back in life and not had kids and not gotten married or did a different path, he would have been a veterinarian or a farmer or something like that, because he got us into animals very early on through 4-H. And so I grew up with, 7 sows and a boar and about 25 head of cattle and a garden, but just more of a hobbyist farm. But in the city limits, you have to understand. I was on Dave Letterman one time and told him about my illegal pig operation because we were in the city limits.
At what point, because I'm sitting here today, everybody watching, listening, Eric Stonestreet, it is time, and you've probably gotten them before, but at least you're getting the flowers from me. Like, what you have done on TV is incredible.
Oh, thanks.
Like, it really is. At what point in time were you like, I'm going to go do TV, actually?
I was at Kansas State University, which is the ag school in Kansas. KU's the other school that we don't really talk that much about. I can't wait to get into
my
hatred for KU has softened over the years. What's good for the Big 12 is good for the Big 12. But yeah, I know, Kansas State, KU, apples and oranges, or should I say wheat and corn. Yeah. So I went to K-State and was going to study criminology and sociology, and that's what I was doing. And then I got dared to audition for a play by my friend Paul, and I did it. And apparently people said I was good at it, and so I auditioned for another one, and then that was it.
Somebody just dared you to just go do an audition, hit on that.
Yeah, I'd broken up with, my girlfriend had broken up with me, my high school girlfriend.
How did she do it?
Came to Manhattan. I'll never forget, she came to Manhattan. She stayed back at junior college. My first year I went to junior college to throw the shot put and discus. And once I realized my hands weren't big enough to throw college implements and how heavy the college implements were, I'm like, I'm good. I'm not going to go to the Olympics, so moving on. So I went to Kansas State, and she stayed behind dancing, and then she, met a great guy and decided that she would rather date that guy than me, and she came up to K-State and broke up with me. And I was bummed you know, it was the best thing that ever happened to me in life for the most part. We're still friends. We still chat every once in a while.
Did she marry the guy that she loved?
Oh, yeah. And he, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. But she was a great girl, great family, and nothing but love. And, you know, I've told her many times that she was the spur in my life that got me moving in the direction I ended up. So I'm very thankful for Christina and very sorry for how her marriage went, and unfortunately lost her husband. And so
Your buddy
I was
Darren.
bummed, and my friend Paul Busenitz, who's still my best friend, Paul Busenitz, said, man, you should audition for a play. You're funny, and you wanted to be a clown when you were a kid, and you should do it. So I said, well, I'll do it if you'll do it. And we went up, and two fraternity guys walk into the theater department and audition for Hamlet and a play called Prelude to a Kiss. And he got cast in Hamlet, and I got the smallest part in Prelude to a Kiss, and that was that.
Did you know that you were, I mean, did anybody say, hey, you're actually really good, like you need to keep doing it?
Well, yeah, right after that, I mean, like I said, I had the smallest part in the play, but people, you know, no small part, only small actors. I mean, I think that's always sort of been my personality, never synthesized that I wanted to be an actor, but I was an outgoing kid. And so the professors there were like, hey, you're really good at it. You should come and audition for this. So then I went and auditioned for a play called All My Sons by Arthur Miller. And I got cast as the lead. You know, here I am, a 19-year-old kid or 20-year-old kid playing a 75-year-old factory owner from World War II engine parts. Great Arthur Miller play. And I did that. And then that's kind of when people said, hey, you know, you're actually pretty good.
So was it a time, Eric, because when you think about the more familiar industry for me is like country music. And it's like, hey, if you're good at music, it's time to pack your bags and go to Nashville. Was that a thing of like, hey, you need to pack your bags and move out west, or how does that work?
So what it was for me, which is I think a lot of your listeners can relate to, is buckle down and get to work, because I never said I wanted to be an actor, right? I just all of a sudden found something that I was pretty good at, which is what the advice was from my dad and mom when I went to college. I did not want to go to college. And they said, you need to go to college and find something that interests you and do that. Don't worry about money, but you're going to college. Well, I'm thankful that I went to college, because that led me to this, and that led me to that, and that led me to this. And then eventually I did find what my eventual vocation was going to be. So having now found it, now I needed to learn about it. And so I stayed an extra year in college, got books on the business, and did another couple plays, and then decided, you know, I love the city of Chicago. I'm familiar with the city of Chicago. I'll move there. And so that's what I did. My dad and I went up and got me a one-bedroom apartment, and I moved there and spent my first 2 years in Chicago, really seasoning myself and sort of learning, if I could do it, you know, with other people in the class. Like, you know, they say you can't compare yourself to others, but I firmly believe you absolutely have to compare yourself with others. And that's sometimes a good thing, right? Because not everybody wants it as bad as you want it, and you need to know that. You need to identify that you can't be lazy going after what you want, because other people will be lazy. I mean, professional athletes will tell you that all the time. There are people that are just gifted, that don't put in the work. And then there are people that have to put in every effort, every ounce of work to be as great as they are. And then there are the Josh Allens and Patrick Mahomes that are freaking awesome, but also work, right? That's what I wanted to be, is I wanted to be a guy that had natural ability, but just went to work.
You had to put Pat and Josh in the same sentence.
Well, they are in the same sentence. I have no problem saying that. I love Josh Allen. He'd be my choice right behind Patrick.
It's interesting that you say that, and I'm glad that you put the two and two together of just mainly work ethic and overcoming adversity if something stops you. Do you think how you grew up and where you grew up is part of the success that you've had today?
100%. Yeah. There's just no doubt about it. We just talked about it yesterday with respect to the boys, because they're 13. When I was 13, I had 75 pigs to feed every morning before school. Before that, I was 11 when I had those pigs. And after school, so after football practice, I still had pigs and cattle. My brother mostly took care of the cattle, but I had pigs to feed and water, make sure the feeders were full and the waters were unclogged. You know how pigs are dirty. Pigs aren't truly dirty, but you know how they are. So I had responsibility, and there's no doubt, I've said it many times, not very many times in my career have we had this kind of conversation about it, where it so clearly relates to what I ended up doing. But having animals around me and having a responsibility taught me that there's a radius outside of 3 feet that exists, which I think most people, not most, but a lot of kids, a lot of people don't realize. It's like, oh, the world is also outside of what I immediately can see. So having animals that relied on me for their sustenance taught me very early on to be a responsible, thoughtful person. I had to keep something alive, a lot of things alive.
You've said it multiple times now of like you haven't had this many conversations about this part of your life. And you see that a lot. And you and I were talking before the cameras were on, like, why did Josh and I decide to do this? I mean, we wanted to shed light on not just a specific farmer, but kind of the lifestyle of it and who feeds you, who makes your clothes, like just the blue collar work ethic. Like, why do you think you don't have a ton of people? It's almost like a thankless job these days.
Well, I want to believe that it's not a thankless job. I want to believe it's just more along the lines of what I was saying, which is we get so consumed with ourselves, we don't think necessarily about others. My mom used to say she grew up in the city and she thought milk came from the grocery store, and I think there's still a lot of people that think that's where milk comes from, is the grocery store. And that's my mom wasn't like a spoiled, rotten brat. She just lived in the city. And it wasn't until she became exposed to, not as an adult, but like later on, that she realized, oh, there's cows that provide milk and there's people that have to milk those. Nothing more work-wise than a dairy farm. My God, back in the day, can you imagine before it became automated? People have no idea.
No idea.
They think the post office, the cows, turns out, keep making milk and have to keep getting milked. So, and I do not like milk. I don't drink milk. Sorry, dairy farmers of America.
I don't drink milk either, man. I think I might be allergic to it. But
I'll drink chocolate milk.
Oh, okay.
I'll drink chocolate milk, and I'll put milk on my cereal. But to drink a glass of milk, ugh, no thank you.
Not even with like cookies or anything?
Never.
Yeah, I drink orange juice in the morning, and then with cookies, I just drink Jack Daniels.
Yeah, there you go. So that sounds good, Santa Claus. I think people just don't give it thought because they don't have to. I was just talking to a buddy of mine. I should talk to you off camera about, because I think this would be you'd be really interested in this. But a really wealthy friend of mine in New York City who lives on the Upper East Side, who's raising 2 kids there, that is so interested in my life. He's like, what stinks is my kids are never going to meet kids like your kids. And your kids very rarely are going to meet kids like Upper East Side New Yorkers like me. We need to fix that. We need to make sure that these kids are going there and these kids are going there. And I was like, dude, you're onto something, because, living in someone else's shoes and experience and having it firsthand is crucial.
Yeah.
Crucial. So I think there's definitely something there.
I think you're a really good guy.
Oh, you can tell already.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, like the fact of, we obviously have a mutual friend in Ryan. We have a few mutual friends as we continue to talk. But it seems like you genuinely care about people, which I remember the first time I had a conversation with you. I was at a bar in the Denver International Airport, and it was right before I was going to get engaged. I got engaged.
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures.
You
Congratulations!
did? Okay.
Yeah,
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.
You didn't like comment or like?
No, I don't. That's third, fourth phase of friendship.
Okay, gotcha.
When I like or comment on your posts.
But you gave me advice. You're like, hey, you're going to Sonoma. Just make sure you don't go the furniture shops with her, because you're going to be spending a lot of money. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, you got to look out. I've been to that part of the country, and they're proud of their stuff, as they should be. But you can find stuff a little better priced there.
After, so you go to Chicago, did you have a stint in, and this is me being outside of Hollywood, like, do people go to Hollywood to do TV and movies? That's where people go. So did you have a tenure in California?
No, I didn't. You mean when I moved to California?
Yeah, like when did you move to California?
98, 2 years after I moved to Chicago.
Chicago, okay.
Yeah, so I started off in Chicago to kind of see, it was close to home. It was me kind of dipping my toes in the water.
Hollywood in 1998, dude. I bet you got some stories.
Zero stories, because I was like, again, I'm a kid from Kansas City that I didn't play the game. So I went to Chicago, figured out that I was decent at it on a more professional level around other actors and people that, had gone to acting school. And I thought, well, you know what? There's no guarantees here in Chicago. There's also no guarantees in LA. So I may as well get to LA and start failing there, where the sandbox is bigger. The rewards are bigger. You know, lightning in a bottle happens in LA. Not that it can't happen in Chicago, but it's more likely in LA. And so I moved there in 1998 to start the journey that would eventually turn into the reason I'm sitting in the room with you.
Did you, at what point in time, I'm assuming, did you latch on to anybody as a mentor in this industry that kind of helped you?
Along the way, you know, people, I would pick their brains. I mean, it's again, we're talking about me being, you know, a dad, which I am to Lindsay's boys. Again, they're 13, and I don't have children of my own, but, you know, I've known them since they were 4, so they are mine. And this is things we're talking about right now that I can't emphasize enough to them to ask questions. Be an investigator of life, right? I was always asking questions as a kid. When we would go to the mall, my parents would always say they'd look around and I'd be out on the bench talking to some elderly person or whatever. So I'm trying my hardest right now to get them to be curious about life and about people, because that's where your education truly comes from, I think. I truly believe that. So, you know, when I would meet people that I admired, when I would meet people that I clearly didn't admire or thought made mistakes, I'm interested. I want to know. I want to know what led you there and what led you there.
What was your first breakthrough? And I'm always, so excuse me, I'm always kind of going back to the country music route just because I'm familiar with it of, you know, whether it's a 10-year town or you get a #1 song, like at what point were you like, damn, I made the right decision? Did you get a
to move
act?
to Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a washed over me type of thing. You know, people that work kind of work in the business, and I was fortunate enough to get commercials pretty quickly. And
what was the first commercial?
Oh, well, that was in Chicago. Like, I had a big campaign for college football where I was painted red and blue. I was Joe Football advertising for the whole idea of college football. That was in 1997. And then in 98, when I moved to LA, I had a tape, a VHS tape, that I could show my agents of like, well, this is what I've done, you know, in Chicago, which is crucial, like, because everybody needs to see it with their own eyes. For the most part. So I was able to show them. In LA, I forget what my first big commercial was, but, you know, I just had a stint where I was making a living. I would say in 2000, 2 years after I moved there, is when I felt like I was in a groove.
That's all. I was hoping your first commercial was like just something stupid.
Hemorrhoids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Something that you just like, I got to do it because I want to do
well,
this.
There was a version of that where, you know, big guys, I'm a heavy set guy, and, you know, there was a time in commercials that painted fat guys was the trend, and I certainly have been every color of the spectrum and in commercials. So
you have done a lot of stuff where you've just been a painted fat guy.
Yes. And literally the word just is very important in that sentence because that's crucial. Because at some point I said no more. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be in a commercial to exploit myself. And then at some point I stopped getting roles just because of how I looked, which is what your goal in Hollywood is, right? It's like on the paper, it's like overweight guy. Okay, well, here comes all the overweight guys. Well, I wanted and beat my managers and agents over the head to say, don't just submit me for overweight guy. I want to start seeing on the paper that I'm just going in for guy and let them have the choice to say like, okay, well, yeah, I guess an overweight guy is just like another guy. So, and that's advice I give to people, you know, actors. It's like, you have to find your threshold of like, you don't want to take your shirt off. And for men, I know this sounds weird. We're talking about guys doing it because you think of it as girls, you know, having to make the decision whether to exploit their bodies or their looks or whatever it is. Sofia's a great example of that. But I've told many friends of mine to say like, hey man, when you no longer want to exploit, you know, how you look, draw the line. Say, I'm not doing that anymore. And a few friends have done that.
God, I love that. I would say out of all the, whether it's musicians, athletes, you know, actors, actresses that we've had on, like I love having like this industry on. You know, we've had just did Neil McDonough, who's getting into
I love Neil McDonough.
Neil's a monster.
Has he got the coolest eyes of all time?
The coolest eyes. He's done the coolest parts. And like, he's just like, when he walks into a room, number one, he's ready to party. He's ready to hang. His wife is just the most beautiful soul in the whole world. And like, he's a guy that just like came in and was like, hey, I want to do it my way. Like, I'm not going to be told what to do.
Yeah.
That was cool. I had Vinny Chase on.
Vinny Chase.
Adrian Grenier.
Oh, yeah.
From Entourage.
Yeah,
That was freaking awesome.
he's great.
He's on a farm outside of Austin now,
That's
just doing
awesome.
his own thing, man. He's not Vinny Chase anymore. I'll tell you this cool story. You know, I walk in there, I'm like, man, I'm about to meet when you think about TV, your childhood hero. It's like Vinny Chase. I want to
Your
be Vinny.
childhood hero, and it's Entourage. That's nothing makes me feel more 53, bro. Jesus.
And we get there, and he's not, man. He's not Vinny anymore, and he's Adrian, and he's got a beautiful family, and he's such a good dude, and he's living the farm life in Texas.
Yeah,
and he's
well, the
just doing his
creator of
thing.
that, he moved to Nashville. He's doing. That's somebody you should have on, 100%. Doug Allen. He's great.
We need to note that.
Yep, note it.
We play a game on this show. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, this game's called the Question Game, and it's actually presented by our friend LEVRACK.
Oh my
Ryan.
God! Don't even get me started about LEVRACK.
Dude, how cool is LEVRACK? This is how I put it, Eric, and I want to know your pitch when you talk to somebody. When somebody says LEVRACK, like, what is LEVRACK? I'm like, imagine when Yeti started and they found a cooler, whether it was an igloo cooler or not, and they just wanted to make a cooler cool. Mm-hmm. Ryan was just looking at his shelf, and he wanted to make a shelf cool. And
For all of his Yetis.
For all of his Yetis,
Yeah.
exactly. And they have built such a beautiful company, man. It's so cool. Like, and he's connected us, and he's connected me with a bunch of people, because everybody, it's one of those things, if somebody has a LEVRACK, the next guy or girl wants to have a LEVRACK. Pretty cool.
There's once you get into that world, man. Once I saw them, advertised to me on Instagram, and then found out they were Nebraska boys, and I just called them and talk about like immediate friendship. I just called him, and he couldn't believe I was calling him. It's like, is this for real, Stonestreet? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm just down south of you here in Kansas City, and we're building a house, and I'm already thinking of my garages. And they've been amazing. They've gotten to come to some Chiefs games with us, and yeah, I've turned them on to a few people. The Bearded Butchers, I know, did their stuff, and I forget all the people that I've turned them on to, but they're great guys, and what a great system of storage. Everyone that comes over is just like, where is this from? Where did you get this stuff? It's like, well,
it's unbelievable.
It's available to you.
He's going to be mad that I say this, but I really say it to everybody. I think, number one, how he grew up and how he was raised and who his family is, and like his hard work ethic, and then obviously the product. I think LEVRACK is $1 billion business in 5 years.
Ooh. Well, let's become real good friends with Ryan then.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan, what do you need?
So the question game. Now look, I've got 4 questions here. You can give one of them away. You don't have to answer all of them. But if you give one away, then you have to answer the rest.
So there's only 5 total. Or there's 6. You have
there's 4. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you can give one of them away. Most people that come on the show, Eric, they don't give any of them away, but you can. All right. Question number 1. Here we go.
Oh, I have to read it?
You do.
Best behind-the-scenes moment from Modern Family. Man, there's so many. You're talking 256 episodes, 11 years of TV. It's hard to pick one, but repetition of answering this question is really the first Halloween episode we did, where my head's in a tray, and they keep taking the tray off, and my head's like on a tray, and Sofia's dressed as a witch, and Ed's dressed as a gargoyle. You watch that scene, just know that scene took double the amount of time it took to shoot, because we could not stop laughing between takes and breaking in character. Just everything that's going on in that moment was really, really funny and stands out. And then other than that, I was a prankster, so I like to prank people, but nobody ever pranked me back, so I just ended up looking like a bully, so I eventually had to stop pranking people, because it's like, come on, you don't want to get me back for putting a Baby Ruth in your toilet? Whatever it was, So I just, I had to stop pranking people, but I would say that kind of stuff, yeah.
That's awesome.
Favorite actor or actress that I have ever worked with? Let me see here. Oliver Platt is up at the top of the list. Bryan Cranston is up at the top of the list. Just recently on Dexter, working with Peter Dinklage is way at the top of the list. Michael C. Hall is way at the top of the list. Let's see.
Is there anyone that you hated working with?
Yeah. There is a couple people that I didn't hate working with, but was very frustrated working with, because it goes back to what I said, which is there's a way I do my process, and there's a way other people do their process, and sometimes those don't jive necessarily, and sometimes it's just how they get to where they need to get to, and I just don't like it or like want to participate in it. And then there's other times when I felt like they weren't as prepared as I was. So now I'm waiting for you to become prepared, which is kind of a no-no in our business. You show up ready to go. Anyway, yeah, things like that.
Before I get to the next one, do you think your next phase is going to be kind of you being in control, whether that's through a producer or a director type of deal? Because I think we should get together and do like a kind of like a, I don't know if it's Modern Family-esque or something like that, of like a comedy like Farming Family.
Well,
like TV show.
we thought that was potentially going to happen with the spinoff of Modern Family, and I've said before, ABC passed on it. It's very well known. I did an interview where I talked about it, and that Jesse and I, we're really looking forward to it. It's where we moved back to Southern Missouri, and he became the most popular guy in our town, my hometown, and then I became the most hated guy in our hometown, which was a fun juxtaposition.
Can we get that back going, you think?
Well, maybe. We have to talk to the right people that wrote the script and figure out somebody other than ABC, Disney, Fox, who already passed on it. Maybe they changed their mind now. I don't know, but we'd have to find somebody interested in it. But there's plenty of ideas out there around what you're talking about. And I think it's true that there should be more shows that I think the average person between the coasts could relate to a little bit more. I think there's always room for that. But there's only room for what makes money, and you have to convince people that it can make money first, and then they're all about it, right?
Yeah, it's like if we had a friend that might have $1 billion business.
Right, or if we had two friends that were franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might.
Maybe we'll think about it.
Yeah, okay. There we go. All right, next question.
Let's see. What's a Hollywood stereotype that is true? That's funny. Well, it just happened. I was just in LA packing up some of the stuff, just some of my furniture to bring home to Kansas City because I don't want to buy it again. And Michael Bublé is in my backyard. He's a pal.
Saw that video that you did. That's cool.
Yeah. And so now all of a sudden Michael Bublé is in my backyard. Then the manager of the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, is in my backyard. And then we're FaceTiming, I don't know, maybe the greatest player playing baseball right now. If you know who that is.
Kansas City?
And Los Angeles, maybe the greatest baseball player of all time, potentially coming if he keeps going. His name's Shohei Ohtani.
Oh.
Yeah. You're not a Shohei fan?
My fiance, now that we get to talk about it, she's a big Dodgers fan. She's her dad was 32 years LAPD. They're from La Crescenta.
No kidding. Well, I'll have to ask you that later. I have friends that are former LAPD that don't know each other. Anyway. So my point of this is saying that sometimes Hollywood, the stereotype that like famous people are hanging out is true, and then sometimes it's not true. This happened to be one of those cases where you imagine that, so-and-so's playing board games with so-and-so and they're all laughing over so-and-so. Sometimes that is true, and that just happened to me last weekend.
That's cool. It's kind of like that whole, what was the movie where they had the underground card
Fight
games.
Club?
Was it Molly's Games, right? Yeah, Molly's Game. Is that a thing? Were there any like?
Oh yeah, there's tons of underground, or not underground, but tons of poker leagues that famous people are in. Tons of fantasy football leagues that famous people are in.
Have you been in a good fantasy football league?
No, I'm not 12.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I prefer watching I loved fantasy football back in the day when you were in the paper and you had to circle your stats and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of a general manager for the boys. I help them with their fantasy football, and but lots of my friends play. I take that back. I was just giving people trouble about playing fantasy football.
It's okay.
I just think about professional athletes playing professional football, and I want to be. He reminds me of Ryan a little bit from LEVRACK. Now that I'm looking at him,
he does a little bit.
We'll show your picture later. I kind of just imagine how I don't know. Imagine you're Josh or Patrick and you're at the mall.
Josh and I are pretty similar in a lot of aspects.
And you come up to a guy wearing your jersey, like a grown man wearing your jersey. I don't think I want to meet Josh Allen, or Patrick, wearing their jersey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does actually.
Okay.
Now that you think about it.
There's nothing wrong with it, but that's not how I would choose. And same with fantasy football. I don't ever want to have a conversation with a professional athlete saying, I picked you in my, third round and I got you and you got 13 points for me last week. It's like, I just don't want to, that was a very broad stereotype of fantasy football players.
Yeah.
I have played fantasy football. I enjoy it. I just would rather be on the side of playing football rather than, which I don't. I'm not a football player, but I would rather think of myself as on the football field versus on the computer.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Hey, last question. Here we go.
A moment you will never forget at at Arrowhead Stadium. Oh man, I just met a bunch of Bills here. Mitch Morse retired, who was a Chief. First. We drafted him, and then he was, of course, Josh's center, and he just retired. And
I didn't realize he was with Kansas City before.
Yeah, he's from Austin, but he played at Mizzou, and then played here. Anyway, I was with a bunch of Bills, and he was taking pictures with his Bills family, and then he was taking pictures with his Chiefs family, and then he was taking pictures with his Mizzou family, and then he was taking pictures with friends. And so it was very hard for me when he was taking pictures with his Bills fans to not be behind the camera and say, okay, on 3, everybody say 13 seconds.
Come on, man.
I watched him celebrate, bro. I watched him celebrate. And that's what I told all the guys. They were awesome, first of all. Followed them all on Instagram afterwards. Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox. What good dudes.
Yeah, Dawson's a stud.
Dawson's a stud. Some of the offensive linemen, who's one of the guys who's now a Bear. Anyway, I love football players, and they were all awesome. They said, you should have yelled that would have been amazing. We all would have punched your face, but that would have been amazing. But I told him, man, I said, where I sit at Arrowhead, I was right above you guys, and I could see everybody celebrating. And they were like, yeah, it's a huge mistake. We learned our lesson right then. And I thought that was cool because it was very unlikely we were going to win that game. I didn't think we were going to win that game. I mean, nobody did.
Other than maybe
Patrick and Travis and Tyreek and Andy. Andy never gives up.
Yeah, true.
But when I hear the replay and Travis saying, hey, if the seam's open, hit me. Like, if he plays me like that again, I'll be open. I was like, holy shit, they knew they had a chance. And so, but that didn't win us the game. That got us to overtime. Everybody makes the mistake of forgetting that part.
Yep.
We didn't win then. We still had to win. Anyway, that's up there.
I mean,
that whole,
yeah.
And then when we came back against the Titans, when we came back against the Texans, that season was incredible. Patrick has given me way too many memories now of favorite memories. But going back to when I was a kid, Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, Dan Salimua, those guys, sacks in the end zone, strip sacks, block kicks, block punts, whatever it is. I loved all that.
You're a huge Chiefs fan, and
Massive.
I think I heard that you got upset when you became the second most popular Chiefs fan when Kelsey
never,
started dating
never
Taylor.
upset. Never upset. I'm a Chiefs fan in that I want everybody to love the Chiefs as much as I love them, and having Taylor as a fan just opens the door to more people becoming Chiefs fans. I love it.
You think? I mean, y'all's value went up by about $20 billion.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Ryan will buy the Chiefs someday.
Yeah.
Old LEVRACK, the Kansas City LEVRACKs.
Did anything change from your perspective when Taylor started coming to the games and stuff and became an open Chiefs fan?
No, I don't think anything changed. A lot of my friends are police officers that work the game, so a lot of their responsibilities changed because it turns out there are a lot of crazy people in the world. Just the level of how big of a star she is and how popular she is, I already knew that, but then I got a firsthand view of it, what it means for her to go places. She's a great person. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I know her.
Yeah.
But I've been around her enough to know, and I know Travis, man. I mean, Travis is a great guy. So, in the idea that great people attract great people, I can only assume that they're each as equally great. They're certainly as great at their jobs, right? That's a big thing in a relationship. You have to respect the other person and their abilities and their talents. Well, check, right? Top of it.
Yeah.
Personality, Travis is amazing. She's awesome. She's such a kind, caring, goes to the hospitals, goes and visits kids. Travis, I know firsthand how charitable he is with our Big Slick here in Kansas City. He always shows up. And then, how they treat people. I judge people on what my personal experience is. And Travis is so kind to my sister, so kind to my mom, so kind to the boys. Lindsay treats them just like he treats me. And I know that. With Taylor, there's many documented stories about what she does, but more than importantly, there's tons of stuff nobody knows she does, which that's the telltale.
Yep. Do you have any interactions with the team obviously it seems like on a personal level, like do you and Andy, like do y'all hang out and stuff?
We go to dinner, maybe we try to hit dinner once a year. He's busy. When he's working. I never want to bother him. And Tammy and Lindsay and I, we go to dinner with Veach and his wife Allison. So we'll have dinner here in Kansas City maybe once a year, and then we text. I hit Coach. We have a lot of same passions. He grew up in the Valley in L.A., which is where my house is, in Toluca Lake. And so we have a lot of the same reference points. Tommy's chili burgers and chili relleno burritos from a stand, So we talk food and talk, football. I don't say too much about football with Coach, but he's a great guy too, man. We're so lucky to have him.
Are you kidding me? I mean, all he's done is like one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just all he's done. Where did the sports that come into your life? I want to talk about sports a little bit. I mean, obviously, I'm done talking about the Chiefs. I mean, as much as I do love the Chiefs, we talked about it a little bit before we sat down. I mean,
keep talking about the Chiefs.
We've had some players come on the show. Where did that passion come from? Did you play a lot?
I played football as a kid, but once I sort of understood the game, that's who I was going to be a fan of. It's in my city. And then really, I was at Indian Springs Shopping Mall when I was a kid, and Joe Delaney was there, the former running back for the Chiefs who tragically passed away, drowned trying to save a kid who was drowning. I got his card, and he signed it, and I have it, still have it. It's always been displayed somewhere in my house. And that, just like every kid, cemented me as a fan. You meet somebody that you look up to. It's like, now I'm a fan. So Joe Delaney was that for me as a young kid.
Who's your guy now that you're like who's your favorite football player right now besides Josh?
Well, I'm an offensive line guy. I love the O-line. So I try to become friends with all those dudes because they're all usually kind of cut from the same cloth as I am.
Yeah.
They
might not have been painted as much.
No. But they would have been if they would have chosen my route, the chubby, the fat guys, right? Offensive linemen have a justice complex for the most part. They're the only people on the field going backwards, and they're the only people on the field who, if they don't do their job, somebody gets hurt. I shouldn't have said the only players going backwards. Cornerbacks also go backwards, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're doing something very counterintuitive. They're having people run as fast as they can at them while they're trying to move backwards as fast as they can. So massive respect there. I've just been a fan of large people my whole life. I've always admired guys that are huge and tall and always thought like that'd be a great way to walk through life, right? Go to a buffet. So offensive line are always up there for me. Creed and Trey, and now we got Josh. I'm very excited for Kingsley. I love offensive linemen, but my favorite football player is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's my favorite football player. Duh. Like, Patrick is personally responsible for a tremendous amount of happiness in my life.
You're right. I mean, he's done a great job. We're going to do a little bet here on the show, okay?
Okay.
Bills and Chiefs. It's in Buffalo this year. Mm-hmm. If the Bills win, you have to post, and listen, it's just a static post on your Instagram with no caption. It's just you and a Josh Allen jersey.
Okay, yeah.
And if the Chiefs win, I'll do the same thing.
Well, that's again, we're going to go corn and wheat. What do you have, like 5 followers? I have 2.5 million. So I don't think it's quite as big of an impact for you to post a picture. People are going to be like,
you pick. Okay, that's totally fair. Yeah.
I say if the Bills win, I do the picture in Josh Allen jersey, and if the Chiefs win, you give me $100,000. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Ryan gives me $100,000.
There we go.
LEVRACK. God, I can't get away from that guy. I keep hooking him up with shelves and cash. We'll think about it. But you get my point. It's
Yeah.
like you wearing a Chiefs jersey is not that impactful. If you could get Josh
Oh, hell
to
no,
wear a
no,
Chiefs
no,
jersey, if we win, then we're talking. Let's see. Last year I had a bet with wing sauce. Somebody bet me a case of wing sauce from Anchor Bar there. I ended up with the case of wing sauce.
I own a restaurant in Buffalo, a wing restaurant called Wing Nuts.
Wing Nuts?
Yeah, Wing Nuts. So,
Sorry. He should have sent me a case of wing nut sauce.
I'll do that, yeah. I mean, anytime.
Oh, you know what? Do you ship? Does Wing Nuts
Yep.
ship? Okay, here's what we do then.
Okay.
I'll wear the jersey, and then you give me like 3 shipments of wings throughout the year whenever I want them.
Okay.
I don't know what price that comes out to, but like I want to have next day buffalo wings at my house. Next day air twice. I'll go twice.
Oh, we'll do 3.
Okay.
3 times. How many Super Bowls have y'all won with Pat?
3.
3, yeah. So we'll do 3. Okay, that's fair.
Went to 5. Lost 1 to you, Tampa.
Yeah, I
Lost
know.
1 to the Eagles.
And you get, I mean, both just dominated at those games.
Yeah. Oddly, down offensive linemen. I mean,
Well, that's where you won. That's where they won the game, right? I mean, it was.
we did not have
Yeah.
an offensive line. I don't want to take anything away from them. They're still professional athletes. But we
Saquon just ran on, and we didn't. In Tampa, we didn't even really have a good quarterback,
I'm sorry.
right? I mean,
The best maybe quarterback of all time. Yeah, you had a decent quarterback. We didn't have an offensive line for Patrick. We were down. We were injured. Our tackles. We had a guard at tackle, a tackle at guard. I mean, it was rough.
yeah, and both D lines. I think you probably could pull up the stats of how much pressure Pat got on both of those Super Bowls. If I can remember, that was kind of both of them.
Unreal. I mean, I don't think the Eagles even blitzed us. That's how rough it was for us.
Yeah, and I want to say the Tampa, did Kansas City score 9 points, I think? So it's
think.
not. Yeah, and
But
then
Patrick still had one of the potentially greatest throws of all time when he was in the air sideways and he threw it and he hit the running back right in the helmet. And if he would have caught it, it would have been a touchdown.
yeah, he can do that. You flexed on me a couple times today, Eric. Number one, on the followers, which just killed me. But number 2,
I'm sure you have more than 5.
yeah, 6. Dude, 11 seasons, Modern Family.
Yeah, 11 years.
Like, how much? You don't have to give me, like, you don't have to show me your bank account or anything. But like, all I know is, like, when you get to, I'm assuming season 4, 5, and 6, like the dough really starts flowing in. Like, how does that? Like, how did that even happen to get 11 seasons? Was just obviously the ratings are through the roof, but how do you keep everybody intact? Like, give me the rundown on how Modern Family was so successful.
Well, it started on the script with the pilot, and you don't know that you're going to be on 11 seasons. You have no idea you're going to be on 11 seasons when that starts. You hope that you're going to get the pilot shot, and then you hope that the pilot is funny and you get picked up for like 10. And then you hope that you get what's called the back end order. The back 9 is what they call it. And so it really wasn't until the back 9 was ordered that I was like, oh, crap, I have a job this year. Because for 13 years, I never had a job that was more than 8 days in my career. And that was a commercial campaign for Comcast that I worked 8 days in a row.
Are you saying that Modern Family was like your first TV show gig?
Well, it was my first sustained TV show gig.
Okay.
I was guest stars on lots of TV
Yeah.
shows, but you shoot a guest star in 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is my first sustained employment for more than 8 days was when I was on Modern Family.
And that took how much of a year each season?
From August to March, early March.
So you weren't doing anything else when you were doing Modern Family?
Could have,
Yeah.
but that was great advice Ed O'Neill gave me right from the beginning. He's like, Eric, you got the best job. You got a great character. You're making good money. Don't do stuff just because you can, and they ask you to. Everybody's going to ask you to do stuff. Make the stuff you do matter and count because you have a great job and it has to be better than this. Well, there isn't a lot of stuff that was better than Modern Family. So I took the route of I knew what it was like to not feel comfortable with employment for 13 years. And I just told my agents and managers, listen, I want to let the comfort of having a job wash over me and take the stress of not having a job away from my memory. So I enjoyed having my job. And I did the occasional thing, but for the most part, I just lived life and enjoyed myself.
It was an awesome show.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was awesome. And what made it great was that nobody ever stopped caring. Everybody appreciated their job. The writers and creators always, delivered great scripts. And we didn't know we were going to do 11 seasons until we were in our 10th season, and they said one more. We could have kept going. I think if COVID really was the end, not because of COVID, but we only did 18 episodes our last season, but had we done our normal 22, we wouldn't have finished the season. So I don't know what would have happened. But I truly believe, and I've said it before, that if everyone had their choice, Ed, Sophia, me, Julie, Ty, all the kids, would you go back and just continue shooting Modern Family? I think even a year and a half after we stopped shooting it, everybody would be like, yes, take me back to that set, because it was euphoric. It was
y'all
utopia.
were like a legitimate family.
Legitimate family.
Did y'all ever get any blowout fights or anything and had any type of, oh shit, this person's not going to come back and do the season?
No, never anything that extreme. But I'm sure that like everyone gets frustrated with each other. You ask Jesse Tyler Ferguson, he would probably tell you he got frustrated with me with different things and how I motivate and do different stuff and how I am. I'm pretty sometimes short, and can be. And I'm sure Julie and Ty, Ty's the nicest person God ever created. And Julie talks a lot, so I'm sure he was biting his tongue every once in a while because he's nice, but just being like, yeah. Ed, I know, he's 70-some years old.
Dude's a legend.
He's got a roast in the crock pot and a bottle of Chianti waiting for him at home, and he's like, let's go, So frustrations, yes. Anger and like arguments, never.
Did it get to a point of, and you see, it's one of those things, don't believe everything you see online, but it seems like, I'm using Friends as an example. I think when they got to the latter seasons of what they were doing, they were making like $1 million an episode. Mm-hmm. Was Modern Family bringing in that type of like lucrative money?
Well, the studio was making, here's what you have to understand about Friends is that's what they could afford to pay those actors, right? Everybody was like, wow, that's $1 million. But the studio's like running the numbers and being like, yeah, we can pay that. We can do that. Yeah. We're still fine, guys. We're still fine. Imagine that.
Yeah.
My point of telling you that is that's how much money there is in TV.
Yeah.
So, we had to go through a couple negotiations to get to a good number for our 9th, 10th, and 11th season. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fun. You're kind of being told you're worthless and greedy at the same time. We're making crap tons of money off of the show that you're on, that you're a part of. People tune in to see you, and we want all the money. We want you to have some of it, but we don't want you to have that much of it. So it's a tried and true process in Hollywood. As success happens, all boats rise proportionately. And all the actors ever wanted on our show and every show is a proportionate slice of the pie as the pie grows. And that's all we ever asked for. We don't create how big the pie is. The pie was huge, right? And so we got a proportionate portion.
Do you think y'all would ever like make a comeback?
Again,
as Modern Family, like, hey, guy, if you called everybody right now and said, hey, we're going to do season 12, do you think everybody would do it?
I think everybody would be intrigued. I think everybody would be interested. But see, then you get into exactly what I'm talking about. It's like if the studio all of a sudden decides they want to do that, what do you think that means they see?
Yeah.
They see dollar signs. And everyone in our business is like, okay, well, if you see dollar signs, we know how big those dollar signs are. Are you willing to pay us to do that, to create the money for you? And so I think everyone would be, go on, let's hear about it. And creatively, the answer is yes. If you could snap our fingers right now and have every one of those writers back and every one of those cast members back and just doing it again, I think everyone would 100% say, sure, 100%. When it gets into the complicated negotiations and stuff, it just gets muddy and what you don't like about the business, but what you don't like about any business, there's parts of it that stink.
Yeah.
You need to be a little unhappy. I need to be a little unhappy, right? That's a good negotiation.
Yeah. And there's one person I don't want to see unhappy, and that's Miss Sophia.
Yeah.
She'll come after that ass. She just came out with once again, it's the internet, that she would never be with somebody that has less money than her. So her and Tom Brady might be dating.
Well, Really?
That's what was online.
I mean, I can find out, I guess. No, I don't know. She dated Tony Gonzalez years ago. That's a great story. So when we first started hanging out and, she's getting to know me, I'm wearing a lot of Chiefs stuff. She goes, Eric, are you a Kansas fan? And I said, yeah. I used to date a Chief. She didn't say the word date. She goes, I used to date a Chief. And I'm like, who? She's like, Tony Gonzalez, dummy. I had no idea. I didn't know who Sofia Vergara was when Tony Gonzalez was a Chief. I didn't know that, but yeah. She used to date Tony Gonzalez way back when.
She's awesome, man.
She's awesome. I mean, she's great. I mean, listen, I don't know if that's an accurate quote that she would never date anyone that doesn't make as much money, but there's truth in what we were just talking about. Every couple, you have to have respect for each other.
Yeah.
And when you get into the world that Sophia's in, success, respect, all those things, unfortunately, are attached to dollars.
Yeah.
Right? If she's as successful as what she wants to be, guess what? She gets paid a crap ton of money.
Yep.
So I think what she's saying is she needs to be with somebody that's as good at their job as they are, as she is, and is as respected in their field as she is. And if people want to equate that to money, then, that's on them. But she's not like that.
Are you a TV show guy? Like, would you say that? Because I'm excited to hear about the stuff coming on with Dexter, which is awesome. But do you get the choice, or is it what you've been molded ever since you got into TV that you don't do a ton of movies and you'd rather do TV shows, or how does that?
Well, if I would have been fortunate enough to find my success in film, we'd be having a different conversation about it. And then now the way entertainment is created on streaming platforms, everything's kind of a movie, right? Because now you have the biggest movie stars of all time on Netflix. You have the biggest movie stars of all time doing a Hulu series. So it doesn't really translate the same as it used to. Then I found success in TV and got, to a place where I was comfortable in life. And movies are kind of a pain in the butt. They take a long time. We would shoot sometimes 7, 11 pages a day on Modern Family. You're lucky to be shooting 3 pages a day. I've been on a movie where you shoot 1 7/8 pages. So my point is it's just really a different process. And once you're kind of in a process that is efficient and moving and you're also getting paid well, it's like, well, why do I want to go to Bulgaria and shoot a movie for?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Have you been a main character in a movie before?
Main character in a movie, I guess. I wouldn't say a main character. But now what I would want to do is do parts in movies that score. Like, I just want to be, a memorable part, a good scene in a movie that I can go in and I could shoot in a couple days.
Yeah. What John Daly just did at Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, did you see that?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
John's been on the show, man.
He's a great
Uncle
dude.
John's
He's a great dude.
I love him.
I love John Daly.
Can you hit on that a little bit just because of your knowledge of, and you mentioned on the streaming side, me sitting from the outside, I don't even know if a movie theater exists anymore. It seems like streaming's kind of taken over. Adam's doing his thing on Netflix. Maybe even John Hamm and what's Ted Lasso's? Is it Jason?
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, doing with Apple. Is that where this type of industry is going now?
Well, I think it's there. I think the industry is already there, and I think if you believe in everything is cyclical, there's a decent chance that linear TV has a chance to come back at some point where maybe when you have kids, that there might be this box that you sit in front of, plastered on your wall, and watch a TV show on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock like Modern Family. I think there's a decent chance of that. But again, it's all about dollars and cents. And once Hollywood has figured out a way to monetize streaming and everybody's making money, then, I don't know if it'll ever be back. I don't consume a tremendous amount of TV because, like I said, we're building a house right now. And my main concern is, how do I get to keep doing this? I just like flipping. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch this.
Yeah.
I hate the whole
backup
thing and all that stuff. So,
what app do you use?
We haven't decided yet. We haven't figured out what we're going to put in, YouTube TV or,
Hulu I like YouTube TV a lot.
Can you flip on it, though?
I think if you go to live on YouTube TV, you can flip on it.
Okay.
Which is because it's like they took the linear television channels and put it on the app. sports is getting really complicated too, man.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Preston, help me out. I think you have to have 8 apps this year to watch every single NFL football. Can we do a little countdown? So you've got Amazon Prime, obviously, has Thursday. Paramount has one. Netflix has the Christmas Day games. Hulu has a Christmas. YouTube TV has like the ticket, NFL ticket. Is it Peacock that has a game too? So like it's getting crazy to watch all the games. You have to have 6 or 7 of the apps.
Yeah, it is what it is, but yeah, I think it'll either remain at what it is or it'll figure out a way to get back to a version of what it was, which is families watching TV together in a central location instead of everyone separated on their phones.
100%. What you're doing now, Dexter, how are you feeling when it comes to, I'm assuming when you do a project, you've got this bar, and I'm assuming the bar is Modern Family. Correct me if I'm wrong. You seeing a bunch of good traction with Dexter coming?
So they brought Dexter back, and once they get picked up for another season, there's a chance my character would potentially come back. But I had a blast shooting it, man. It was great. I was flattered that they asked me. It's not a character that people will necessarily enjoy me playing, and I was grateful that they thought of me for it, and I had a great time shooting it, and hopefully if they get picked up for another season, they'll have me back.
How do you put yourself in the mindset? You were the perfect example when it comes to acting of sometimes you're on television being somebody that you're not. And as a straight man in real life, but obviously a gay man on Modern Family, how do you get your mindset right as an actor to say, hey, because you went all in and you created one of the best TV shows of all time. Like, is that something?
Well, the trick is you don't look at it that way. I mean, never from the beginning did I say I have to create a character that's gay. I just had to create a character that people liked and admired and enjoyed and who happened to be gay. The gay was written on the page, right? And it's, back then it was modern. It's not modern anymore. I think Jesse and I and Steve and Chris, the creators of Modern Family, had a little bit to do with breaking down some walls there and opening people's minds and hearts to understanding that people are people are people are people. Families are families are
Amen.
families are families. And everyone has a connection to something different in their family. And so I just never looked at it that way, just never looked at it as with Dexter, I'm a serial killer. I never have to do anything to make me a serial killer. It's written on the paper that I'm a serial killer. So now I have to create a character that you would get close enough to be killed by me, right? You have to trust me and like me.
Because you've never really found like, hey guys, I'm only going to do this. Like you've opened it up. Like, hey, I can be. Well,
if all my friends, that friend Paul Business that I referenced earlier, if he was here right now and you were interviewing him and said, well, did you ever think Eric was going to make it, or did you know Eric was going to make it? I think most of my friends would say, if he was going to make it, it would have been as like the jerk in an office show, or a jerk attorney, a pompous judge. Somebody of like, maybe with a comedic element, because I'm, a funny dude, I guess. But I don't think anyone had on their cards that I would be, I think what we can agree is a gay icon from a massively huge TV show. That wouldn't have been in the cards necessarily. But all I ever wanted to do was create characters that people liked, people disliked, and people were affected by or moved by, and that's the standard now. It's like, well, do I get to go create something fun that challenges me, and then shoots fast, and also doesn't take up a lot of my time because, I'm 53, about to turn 54, and
I would have said 42, man.
Thank you, sir. I want to enjoy life. Lindsay and I are together and love her so much, and we have such a great life, and I want to enjoy that stuff.
Would you take her to the furniture shops in Sonoma, like you told me not to take Sydney?
Here's what's great about Lindsay. She doesn't want to go to the furniture shops in Sonoma, and that makes me want to buy her stuff from the furniture shops in Sonoma even more. Right?
I would agree with my fiance as well. Yeah,
and isn't it funny that people that respect and have respect for money? We were just somewhere talking. I was talking to a very wealthy person. person. And we were talking about sweets.
Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. We were talking about sweets and how they charge you $4 for a bottle of water. And he was telling me a story about how he stops and gets water before because he's not paying $4, and people are like, well, you're so rich you can afford the water, and he's like, because I can doesn't mean I have to. And I always remind people, my dad would say the same thing. It's like, well, people that have money and have made it and are successful are that way for a lot of reasons, and being thoughtful with money is one of them. So just because I can afford something doesn't mean I should do it. Yep. And Lindsay has the same exact mentality, which then makes me want to buy things more for her because I understand she has an appreciation.
She reverse psychology you, man.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But that's cool, though, and that leads me to one of the last few topics. What you're building out here is freaking fantastic. What you're doing on the ranch, this is why I love storytelling, man. People can go and see Stonestreet on the TV, but who's Stonestreet not on the TV? What you're doing on the ranch, and who's been out there? They've been practicing their gun skills.
Yeah. So I've been really excited. The last season of Modern Family, I got the chance to buy some acreage out in Leavenworth, Kansas, which is just west of here, about an hour. And so we built a little infrastructure out there, built a range that then the Kansas City Police Department SWAT team trains at, the FBI SWAT team trains at, National HRT has flown in, some Navy SEALs DevGru has been there. They haven't used it yet. They were going to launch some drones from there, and it didn't end up working out. But my point is I've opened that up, to law enforcement. And it's like, hey, train it, because believe it or not, there aren't a lot of places where you can, do close quarter combat training where you're surrounded by berms. Well, we built a nice setup out there, and so they train out there. Neighbors are like, what is going on? Because Hueys are landing and Blackhawks are landing.
Are they really?
Oh yeah. Like I get texts all the time of like, hey, you're scaring my cows. I'm like, well, it's not me. I promise. It's legit though.
It's the FBI. See, that is awesome.
Yeah,
man.
It's awesome. I love that I'm able to do that. And then where we're building the house is in Missouri, and that's on some land that we bought up north. And hopefully when we're all done and have a moment to breathe, and when the bleeding stops, get a couple animals, recreational animals. I'd like the boys to have something to go out and brush and feed and pet. Maybe a pony or something.
Raise,
yeah.
And tend to. I know for a fact, just by this last hour conversation, you're going to raise those kids the right way, how you were raised, which is so cool to me. Yep. The hard work, the value of $1. I just think what you're doing off of the TV is incredible. Any other cool projects coming down the pipeline? Anything, something that you're excited about?
Well, I'm excited about what I don't know about, and every day sort of, presents itself as an opportunity. I just got a really fun email 2 days ago asking my interest about something that someone's trying to get off the ground, and the people involved, I'm not going to talk about it because it's not real yet. But that excites me. The idea that people think of me for things and people are still thinking of me for things, that excites me. I guess the answer is yes, but I don't know what those things are. But I can promise you that there's enough creative people in the world who are smart and have good taste that will find me and ask me to be a part of their project.
Yeah, just like before he sat down, Preston, you were here. I think we might even see a podcast soon under our network.
Yeah,
hosted
get a podcast
by
going.
Stonestreet, man.
I've been asked to do podcasts before, and I've said no many times because it has to be the right thing. But I'm not close to it. I certainly have a place in my house where we could build a massive, awesome, cool studio, and invite people. We call our place Jolly Ridge, and I think right off the bat, Conversations at Jolly Ridge sounds like a pretty good podcast to me.
Like I said, I saw you on social media. You had Michael Bublé.
Yeah. We could get good guests.
Yeah, there's
birds flying high. Yeah, we could get good guests. But I wouldn't want that. I really like the idea of talking to people. Everyone has a story, and everyone's famous in their own way and world. And I'd like to talk to people like that.
That have 5 followers. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Or no followers.
I don't have social media. There's some beautiful stories.
But how funny is it? You talk to someone, be it on an airplane, be it at whatever, wherever you are, and you just ask one question, and then all of a sudden you have something in common, or you realize this person has the most incredible story you've ever heard in your life, or there's a coincidence that's between you. I mean, that happens regularly. And the point of what I was saying earlier about the boys asking questions, and the point about my friend in New York who's on the Upper East Side, that whole thing is we're, as a society, losing that of talking to each other and asking each other questions and finding out things about each other that we would find fascinating or remarkable or unbelievable or, you know, whatever. Every day you can go out and find a story from someone you've never met that will blow your mind. That's
Totally
my
agree.
podcast.
I love that.
Yeah, well, you saw it, $1 million deal.
Hey, I'm going to wrap this up with one last question.
Oh, shit.
Chiefs Kingdom,
Yeah.
coming into the season.
Oh, we're coming to Buffalo this year, right?
Yeah.
You guys are good at winning regular season games.
Just the fact how you drink that tea. Can we show the, what is it, the frog?
Yeah,
when he
regular
drinks the
season,
tea?
as we know, regular season means everything.
Anyways, the question, Chiefs Kingdom, what are we going this year? What's the record? Kansas City Chiefs, go and lay it out.
I used to be scared to death of football season starting every year because we would be a team that almost won.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Bills, right? And so we got over that hump with Patrick. And you guys, I'm saying you guys, but
Yeah.
Josh and the Bills fans, I have respect for the Bills fans because you guys are the team of almost in the 80s or in the 90s with the Super Bowls, and then with us, this rivalry now. Like, so massive respect for Bills organization and Bills fans. You're there. We were there. I just happened to be on the side of getting over that hump. And I know that won't always be. But here's the deal. We're better than we were last year, and we went to the Super Bowl. We have to get through you. We have to get through Denver, I think, is a sleeper. I think Denver's going to be great. Love that quarterback. I think they always want a Charger. You know, they always want to throw the Chargers in there, but Charger's Charger, as they say. With Joe Burrow and with Lamar Jackson, I mean, Pittsburgh, I think, is ascending. Everyone's coming after us. We know that. But our roster, thanks to Brett Veach and Andy and those guys, we're more solid this year than we were last year in all the positions. So I think we're gonna be good. I think we're gonna be great. And we have Andy and Patrick and Travis and Taylor and me.
Hey, that's all you need, honestly, to be honest with you.
So what do you need to win a football season? Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, and Eric Stonestreet. That's it.
The proof is in the pudding. I appreciate you coming on the show today. Seriously, thank you so much.
Oh, and since I'm on your podcast, I would like to announce my new album.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead.
We'll break the internet for all your 5 followers. I'm going to have to create my own album. I don't have an album. What color would my album be? Hers is orange this new year, this new one. All of her cryptic stuff, though, the numbers, the color,
she'll like
it's badass. Like
it
is.
She
it's
like
cool.
makes you think about it.
It's Da Vinci Code.
I was sleeping because they kind of teased it late at night, and my fiance wakes me up.
Don't you hate saying that word, by the way?
I know, but the last time we talked, I said, hey, my girlfriend that's about to be my fiance, hopefully if she says yes. So, like, yeah.
I know, but you're going to find out that you hated saying girlfriend at some point because it felt transitional. Because you meet so many people and you say, well, this is my girlfriend. And then they're quietly thinking like, wonder if it'll be his girlfriend next time I see him. And then you're like, well, yeah, she will be. And then now you're in fiance world and you're going to get to the point where you're going to be like, oh, I just want to stop saying that word. I'm tired of that word. That's where Lindsay and I are. I mean, it's like, we've been engaged for a long time and it just feels, I'm 53, she's 40, whatever.
Oh, get married, man. Can we announce you have a wedding coming up?
The whole purpose of building the house has been to host a wedding. So once we're done with the house, then it shifts to wedding mode.
Okay, so just announce the date of the wedding right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's my announcement.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
Some people do albums. I do wedding dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate you coming on the show. I love you. I love seeing what you're doing.
Thanks for my knife.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Thanks, Case.
And as always, I appreciate y'all tuning in every single Wednesday. How about you come check us out on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.
Be like a farmer. First, you're going to need a pocket knife. Carry it right here in your bibs.